everyone I know was changing jobs or stepping off the career ladder.
3.6 million Americans quit their
It's all
jobs.
because of the so-called Great Resignation.
Great resignation.
I know what I want out of my career. Might as well just make the move.
41% of the world's working population is planning to switch this
1
year.
in 3 employees are considering leaving their
More
job.
than 4 million workers quit their jobs.
Should you consider quitting too?
Right, welcome to your favorite show, Nope, I'm Out, where we encourage you to give up. We'll inspire you to throw in the towel, and hopefully you'll quit that experience, job, situation that's no longer serving you. Right now, I have my amazing guest here, Stephanie. How you doing?
I'm all good.
Why'd you laugh?
No, because I waved. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here.
Amazing.
I'm excited.
Amazing. Well, we're going to play a quick game. I know you had no idea that we were going to do this.
No.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to pick a random letter, or someone behind the camera is going to pick a random letter. Okay. And we're going to have to go back and forth naming some category, basically. So it could be food, could be countries, could be cars, could be actresses. Which one of these categories do you want?
Let's do food.
Food. Ooh. Okay. All right. Ooh. Okay. We'll see how long you go. I've been playing this with other guests as well, so we'll see how long you go. 3, 2. You gonna go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Cool. 3, 2, 1, go.
Grapes.
Wait. Hold on. Grapes. We
Wait.
said K. Oh my god!
All right, I missed that part.
Oh my god!
All
Okay,
right, you're gonna explain the
right.
game again.
Let's just do a little tester. Let's pick G for example, right? And if we do food, you'll say grapes, for example.
Yeah.
I would say God knows what I would say.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean?
Got you.
We're doing K basically.
Okay.
Do you know what I
Got
mean?
you.
So 3. Do you want to do G? We can do G if you want to, but we
Let's
can
do G.
Okay, cool. 3. What am I gonna say for G? That is crazy. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Grapes.
Garden egg. You know what's so funny, yeah? I don't think one person has made it past like one response. So 5 seconds and 12 other seconds.
Goujon.
So goujon. Goujon is a type of chicken nugget, is it
doesn't
not?
matter. You eat it.
What's a goujon? They were like chicken goujon.
It's chicken covered in batter and fried.
But it's
put
a
in the oven.
specific type of. Okay, cool. That's what we're doing. Should I resume it then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Go on.
I just said one.
Okay, garlic bread.
Grapefruit.
That is, you said grape before.
Doesn't matter.
This is so bad because on a normal day.
We're talking about today.
So a Gary to me tastes like accidental, if you get what I mean. It tastes like something that like they kind of stumbled across and then were like, do you get what I mean? Like, oh, okay, let's go on with it. Like Ebba, for example, yeah? Let me tell you what my backstory of Ebba is, in my opinion. This is what happened. There must have been Gary on the floor. It must have rained. Do you get what I mean? Where it's rained now and the rain has cleared up. Do you get what I mean? That's what's left. And people are thinking, oh, okay. Do you get what I mean?
Maybe
we can eat this. Because it doesn't look intentional. I don't think Ebba is intentional. Ebba looks like an accident. Like, do you get what I mean? Me personally, innit? If you agree, do you know what I mean?
What makes you
comment
think of
below?
these stuff?
Right. Introduce yourself, sunshine.
Right. I'm Stephanie. Nice to see ya. How do I introduce myself? I guess I'm a creative.
Yeah. A multidisciplinary, creative, multifaceted.
I direct. I design. I do a few bits and bobs.
You know when people come on here and say bits and bobs, and the bits are bobbing because they're doing like massive things, and they try and make it come on the show, make it look like, do you get what I mean? They only just started, but it's fine. When was the last time you said, nope, I'm out?
It was a project that I was offered to make a film, to advertise a program that I actually did, and I actually really wanted to do it. And I then had to really think about, one, how practical it was at the time. I was working on a personal project at the same time, and the timeline seemed to run concurrently. Yeah. The budget was quite small, which meant that I would have to I can't hire people to do certain stuff. A lot of the bulk of it would be between us that has been selected to do it. So I knew it would be quite intensive if I want to make it good. And I just had to be realistic about how practical it would be for me to work on the project as much as I wanted to. And like, the program had done a lot for me. But I know I've said yes to things in the past that haven't been handled so gracefully in the end, and I ended up regretting it. And I just have to think back to that and say, let me just respect myself and respect them as well. Because sometimes when you say yes to things that you were really supposed to say no to, the stuff that you produce isn't necessarily the quality.
The actual content ends up like suffering because you don't have the bandwidth.
Capacity.
Okay,
Exactly.
So directing, take us back to the beginning. I know SBTV had like a big part to play in that. What was that experience like?
So that was really the beginning. I was at uni at the time, final year, and
studying what? Sorry,
studying retailing, marketing, and management.
Oh, okay.
So I was in the business school. Started off with management sciences first, change course. I was just trying to get as close to creative as I could.
So you said
be in
nope,
that
I'm out,
business.
even for the degree.
Even for the degree, it started from the degree. I said nope, I'm out. I actually was thinking I wanted to change course completely, but then the course that I wanted to do wasn't at my uni. It was elsewhere. I actually wanted to do what you did, philosophy.
Is it?
But there's no philosophy enough for us. So,
philosophy is great, guys.
I transitioned into like the most creative side of business that I could be in. So I didn't have to start again or anything. That was the good thing about it. It was a change, but it wasn't a massive change. Final year came. And I'm a bit of a dabbler. I just have my hands in a few things just because I like to experiment and have fun with things. So in my final year, I was like, film. I don't know. I've never tried this one before. Had been doing like graphic design, photography, that kind of stuff alongside my degree. And then the opportunity came up with SBTV for like 40 young people to make a short film. And like they would basically pay us to make it and mentor us through the process. We didn't actually do too much work to be honest, but I was like, this sounds like a good deal. And so I applied. It was like a little video application. I hate those. But I got into that program.
Did you have to just kind of explain like your motivation?
Yeah,
like why like a film like for the application?
No. It was literally just like a video explaining why I actually wanted to be on the program, what it would mean to me, that kind of vibe. And then I think there was actual questions to write that. I can't.
It's a while back.
It was a while back. But I remember doing the video because I was in my uni room recording it over and over again. I hate video applications, so I remember that one was a video. Got onto it. I was like, cool. So I came back from uni for the weekend just to do that, and like they really walked us through like the process and like what the crew is made up of. Okay, this is what a director does, a producer does, and for that program, I was in the production department, so I was doing like all the producery stuff, finding locations, that kind of stuff. And they literally just broke down to us like what each person does, and I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, I'm. This is all very new to me, but I was like, I feel like I'm in the right place. Yeah. Not necessarily on the right team though, because this production, they're like, let's go and find locations. I was like,
Yeah, you weren't really that part of it specifically.
So I was like, I don't know if I'm in the right
specific
role,
area.
But this whole film world, I was like, this is exciting. And I was like, I think it's
I think that's super interesting because unless you study it at university, I personally wouldn't really know where to go to find out like anything like about that field unless you kind of just type it into YouTube. Do you know what I mean? So around what time in the year like was this like, because you're at uni, I assume you have like exams.
This was like October. I think it was October.
Okay. It's like
2018.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. So it was around that time, just before like coursework season started kicking in. And it was a good deep dive into the film world and just it gave me the opportunity to meet people as well, because I didn't know anyone in the industry. And then obviously Jamal, rest his soul. I met him and I was a massive, I still am, of course, a massive fan of Jamal. And I remember I was on the course and he walked in and I was like,
you know what's so crazy? So like, obviously it's interesting that you're speaking about Jamal, because he was my introduction into that whole world as well. Just after winning some competition, funny enough, to go and meet him. Got to see him and everything. And we were just talking about the show that we're going to film and all this kind of stuff and mentorship and everything. And it's funny because when you grow up seeing somebody like that, when you meet them in person, it's almost, there's something quite surreal just about the whole thing, especially him specifically, 100%. Just because like he has been, and I say has just because like his work and his, legacy is still alive. He's been around like for a very, very long time. I literally grew up watching like SBTV and I'm sure you did as well. And so it's just crazy how like a lot of the people I speak to in this space, that was basically like their first kind of introduction to pretty much anything, basically.
Definitely.
I find that like super, super interesting. But go on, you met him.
Yeah, definitely was the case for me as well. It's funny, there is many stories, many stories like that. But yeah, like walked in and I just remember like, I was just so happy and I was like, oh, hi.
And he's probably like down to earth, right?
So normal. And obviously I was just starting out. So he was one of the first people that like inspired me that I had actually met. And I just remember feeling so like important in terms of like, it's not just him and we're just these kids that are, he really, you could see that he believed in us and what we were doing and what we had to say and what we had to create. And I remember even just asking him like, I'd love for you to be a part of whatever I'm making in the future. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, don't forget me. He was saying to me that I said, sir. But like, I just remember just leaving that interaction and feeling like
empowered.
Empowered. And going on after that program, that was the start. After that, I said, I'm leaving uni and I think this is it.
This is what I'm going to do. I think that's so, I just think it's so powerful because I just think obviously it speaks to him as a person and everything. Like I remember him even saying to me like, I'm going to celebrate like your successes, like they're mine type of thing. And this is somebody that even then when you met him, and I actually met him the year after you met him, this is someone who's like, he's absolutely like flying in his career at this point, so much so that like most of the things he does are like behind the scenes, like in some poetic kind of way. But he still kind of finds time to, help people in this way. And then because of that interaction, you now kind of say to yourself, actually, like, I believe that this is something that I can do now. Like I'm about to go ahead and do something with this, right? So what did the path like look like to you, as in how did you think you were going to move forward? Because you're in final year at this point.
I'm going to backtrack first, because I think it wasn't just that. I think what first enabled me to even jump on the program was the fact that I did a year out the year before, and I studied abroad in Singapore for 6 months, and I had a lot of time to think. I've never spent so much time with myself in my life. So in that time, I was like, am I doing the right thing? Like, this marketing thing is cool, but like, I know how creative I am. And I was like, is this really it? And then I was like, I started thinking back to when I was young. Like, what did I love when I was young? What did I do when I was young? And I was like, like I loved stories, I loved reading, I loved that stuff. And I was like, what happened? Like, I started asking questions, and that's why as soon as I got back to uni and the SBTV thing came up, I said, let's tap into this.
Let's double down
and see. So I think the fact that I had been thinking about it for a year and just questioning everything, questioning where I'm going. And I'm quite an idealist in the sense that it's not enough to just be cool. Like I need to be doing the best possible thing that I could be doing at this current moment. And if I don't feel like I'm doing that, I'm not gonna be satisfied. So after that I was like, I think this is it. And for me, as long as I know, the hardest part for me is figuring out what that is. Once I know what it is, I'm like, I've done half of the battle is won just by knowing. Now I just need to run with it. So leaving uni, did an internship at Google.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, tell us about this.
So did that. That one
in Ireland, right?
No, I did it in London.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why did
yeah.
I feel like
I got the Ireland one? I did the see.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So goes back to what I said about like the best possible. I had got an offer to do sales in Ireland. I wanted to do marketing. I turned it down in the hopes that I would get the marketing internship. So I asked them, can I like do a marketing interview instead? Waited 6 months after my offer to get the marketing interview, and I didn't get it. So then that year it was done. The Google dream was over for that year. Then I reapplied the year after again. So that was the time that the year I actually did it was my 3rd year applying.
Okay. Yeah.
So each year something weird happened, and then I did actually get the marketing role that I wanted in London. And yeah, it was a wonderful time.
Even that process though must have been quite challenging because correct me if I'm wrong, I was with you at Google in like 2017.
Yeah.
In Ireland, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's where we first met. And then like that's kind of like a taster program to like all of those things. Sales, marketing and everything like that. And that's like, at least for me, that was probably one of the first times I was like leaving the country to do anything like work related. I don't know about your experience,
Same.
but I mean, we didn't go too far. It was like 30 minutes on the plane.
It was somewhere. It was really somewhere.
Right there, I was filming outside the window. Catching flights, not feeling it.
For real. That was the vibe. Absolutely.
So 20 minutes later, we landed, and then we landed in Ireland.
That one was a mind-blowing
this is what I'm saying.
This is what dreams are made of.
Exactly. Like you're living the life. Again, like if you're from a certain area, it doesn't matter where I'm going on the plane. I got on the plane and we went somewhere.
Do you know what I mean? And it was very, very important.
Time passed and we went somewhere. Do you get what I mean? So we get off now, like 20 minutes later. And then we get to Dublin. And I don't know about you, but it just looked, I was just quite surprised by what I saw. It just didn't look, it didn't look like London.
No.
I'd never been to Germany, but I felt like I was in Germany.
To be honest, I didn't know what to expect. I don't know if I had any expectations.
But I think the money made me feel different. So when I say the money, I'm not talking about the salary, please. I'm talking about they use euros. In Ireland. So that made me feel like, oh, okay, I am somewhere else. You know what I mean? But we do that anyway. And I think it was a lot of fun, actually. It was a lot of fun. Got to meet each other, got to meet other people.
It was fun.
And then you kind of decided based off of that experience that, okay, you still want to explore Google, but not sales.
Okay. So it was weird because I worked so hard for that interview. Then I got the offer and I said, wow. I actually got it. And I was like, oh, but I want to do marketing there. And then it was the thing like, oh, do I take what I've been given or do I risk it all? And I chose to risk it all.
I think even that's like good to like get into because again, if you're not really used to having much or like if this is all used to you, you can kind of feel like you should just clutch at everything that comes your way and like you've gone to Google. This is Google, you know what I mean? Like as in
it's no small.
And I feel like even today, times are a bit different. Even though we're talking about 2017, we're now in 2022, where I feel like it's thankfully slightly more common to find yourself in that place. Obviously, there's still a lot of work to do, but back when we're there now, 2017. I think I know a handful of people that have ever been there, like at that point, basically. And so you kind of have this feeling that like, this is a very rare opportunity, you know.
Definitely.
You don't even really kind of understand how you've ended up at Google because it's like a tech company and what is tech really? And all of these kind of questions and everything. But then you kind of sit in that and say, actually, I do still want something else. Like, as in you're still able to kind of like choose for yourself. I think that's I think it's a really important trait to have, to know that like you deserve like what you want.
100%. I think it wasn't easy. I can comfortably say it now, but because obviously these risks don't always pay off. When I found out I didn't get the marketing thing, I cried. I cried in that car park in Singapore.
In Singapore though, it's a good place to cry. yeah.
But in the long run, it still worked out. Like it worked out. I did it a year later than I wanted, but I had a year to prepare in it for the interview.
Yeah, you smashed it in it.
I dare not fail that interview again.
You smashed it in it. Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't. That was the saddest part. I said, I prepared for a year.
Yeah.
But grace of God in it.
Yeah.
He said, this one has tried.
Yeah.
Let's make a way.
Let's try. So you do it anyway, and then you end up
anyway.
getting the marketing internship in London. What was that like?
That was the best thing, and I think it was perfect timing because I don't think I would have appreciated what that opportunity was as much as I did if that whole process wasn't like that. I appreciated it 10 times more having gone through that process and that journey to get there. And I said, I'm not going to throw it away, if that makes sense. And I said, God, if I just get onto this program, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure it's not just
I'm
me.
going to roll several times, yeah. You know, we promised God the most when we want, so he's probably looking at you, look at this one.
The plans were many.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like I stuck to them and like, yeah, that's kind of what inspired the event that I did at Google. And it was kind of to help show the pathway for people from disadvantaged backgrounds or underrepresented groups, like how you can navigate this process to Google, and more specifically like creative roles within the space, because I felt even from within Google, I felt like it was still very mysterious how you ended up in creative roles there. Obviously there's the creative lab. Is it called the creative lab? Something like that.
I don't know. It's been a very long time on my end, yeah.
There's the zoo and stuff like that. But how you actually get in there, mystery. So that was something, that was all like things that I was trying to figure out whilst I was there, and then did the event at the end to kind of show people, guys, this is my discovery.
Yeah.
Take it, take it and do what you will.
This is what I found out.
And yeah, like that was a great experience, and my team kind of banded around me to help me like put together the event, and then overall, like they also created the opportunity for me to do a lot of what I was interested in, which was like the more creative stuff, video, film, that kind of stuff. And then like, okay, like, so there was some projects that weren't initially what I was meant to do that became something to do because that was just my interest. So I worked on a video campaign whilst I was there, not in the most creative way because it was still Google and it was still very much more from a project management angle. But I loved that I was given the opportunity to like still kind of work on stuff that I was interested in whilst I was there.
I find that interesting because obviously we were just speaking about Jamal, and funny thing is one of his like biggest moments, like at least for me growing up, was his Google advert. Like they had a Google advert about him basically, like about how he kind of started with the camera and everything. And it's just kind of weird how life works in terms of like you meet him, he kind of gives back, you go there, you kind of give back, and then like, all these kind of all these kind of weird, all these kind of weird things.
Yeah, no, definitely it was a 10 out of 10 would recommend the experience.
Okay, so you're at Google now.
Yeah.
At this point, you're obviously right now as I'm speaking to you, not at Google, right? Okay, so you don't stay at Google.
No.
Why?
Oh, okay. So this one was a tricky one because at this point I'm at Google and I'm having a whale of a time. And I'm like, this is the kind of environment that I would love to work in, but this isn't necessarily the type of work that I think I should be doing. And then it became the question of everything that I've done before as well, the SBTV thing, all my thinking alone in my room in Singapore. I was like, I feel like I should be doing something more creative. But is Google the right place for me to do that? Am I going to be able to do that here? And thinking about it, I was like, I don't have the portfolio or the work to even pitch myself as a creative person here. If I stay here, will I eventually kind of transition out of that role, or do I need to leave and create like the work that I know that I need to create or that I want to create, and go the more uncomfortable route. So yeah, I was like, actually, I think I need to go and just do the work and build the portfolio, because that was a situation that I didn't actually like, because I feel like I was in the right place with the right people. I networked.
Yeah.
I met a lot of good people who actually did want to help me. I just didn't have the work. And I was like, damn, imagine I'm talking to you and you can change my life, but I don't have the work for you to even give me the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to go and do the work.
Yeah.
So then after that,
You just made the decision basically. And
yeah.
said, okay.
To be fair, they didn't even, like, I would have had to still like apply for some sort, find the right role that I wanted and still go through that process to get the job. It wasn't just a given.
Yeah.
But I just decided that I don't think
I'm
that
not
was
gonna
the
pursue
route.
that,
Yeah,
basically.
that wasn't the route that I was going to take. So
Okay.
yeah, I kind of jumped off the bandwagon and
Decided to just do the work.
do the work in the deep end.
So did you have an idea in your mind of like, okay, these are the types of things I'm going to create. This is who I'm going to speak to. Was it like completely crystal clear how you were going to do that?
No.
Or was it just vibes?
Vibes. It was vibes. At the time I was like, oh yeah, gonna just chill for a bit, because obviously this was right after uni, finished the internship now. I was like, okay, a few months time. I was about to go to America as well with Google, but on their creative campus thing. I did a lot of Google programs. And then I said after that, it makes more sense for me to get a job after I do that, after I travel and all of that kind of stuff. So coming back now, I also went to Nigeria on holiday. That was also...
Oh, I was going to bring all of this up anyway. You get what I mean? We were going to talk about this anyway. So we're going to talk about Nigeria, or even just, there was something you went to.
Yeah.
And you were definitely like the first person I knew that went to that type of thing. It was like I don't know if it was like a film festival, but it was something. I don't know if you remember what I'm speaking about. You went to some sort of festival, basically. And it had to do with like visual storytelling, and you have a post about it. So
was it
was it
Cannes?
Is that what have you been to that?
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. That
was part of like the Google Creative Campus program. And that was a program that I entered, and I had to make like not a short film. It was like my entry was meant to be about my life, but it was like a video, and I could tell my story however I wanted to. So I just created this video, got my friends to help me shoot stuff, and I tried to make it really creative. That was my best shot. I did actually give that one my best shot. And yeah, took us to America, took us to Cannes Film Festival as well. Is it not a film festival?
That's what I'm saying, yeah, because that's why I didn't say the film festival, because I don't think it was a film festival, but it definitely was something.
It's the advertising one.
Yeah, adjacent.
Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know the real name, but it's the advertising one.
Yeah.
And that opened my eyes. I said, wow. First of all, I was like, okay, cool. Like when you try your best, you can really get these kind of opportunities.
Yeah.
Second of all, it was a whole different world, and like I met so many people whilst I was out there. It was just a great opportunity to see what was possible, and see like there was so many like inspiring talks and stuff that I went to, and I was on it was like a learning program, and like we were taught by like amazing people in the industry, a guy called Abraham and a guy called Maxi, and that like they were like just riding for us, and everyone we were all still in a group chat till this day, and we're all kind of just looking out for each other, and it was like 30 something people from everywhere in the world, like everywhere, from Nigeria to India to everywhere. Yeah. So yeah, it was just a beautiful opportunity.
I think one of the things I'm realizing, even as I'm speaking to you, is that like travel has been an opportunity for you to reflect on like the decisions that you're making in your life. So obviously you were in Singapore, you're thinking deeply about like, like, am I on the right path? Am I doing am I giving my best basically in life? And then you get the opportunity as well to go to, where was this? So you say they took you to America?
So it was America. It was a 2-part thing. Yeah. So it was America first.
Yeah.
And we went to the Google campus there for like a week. And then I kind of did my own detour. At the end, went to LA for like a couple of days, came back. Then it was Cannes Lions Festival was in France.
Yeah, France, Okay, so it seems like travel was just this opportunity for you to reflect at certain points of your life, as I said, kind of in Singapore, thinking about what direction you're going to take, in America, whether it's like what you were doing there specifically, or your detour, or France, or even Ireland, these have all been opportunities for you to kind of see what's more, what more there is to life. and what more there is to like you and like your purpose here. So that's something I find super, super interesting. Okay, so you've done this now, you've left Google now, you decide to do this work that you speak of. What do you work on first?
First thing I work on is a short film.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and it was funny because I started at that point, did another program called Creative Mental Network, and it started around September time, just after I finished my internship. So it was perfect timing. They give you a mentor and you have a goal and to complete by the end of the mentorship period. It was a 4 months period. So he asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, oh yeah, I'm trying to get into this film thing. It would be nice to make a short film. I was like, okay, let's do it. I said, oh, okay.
That easy, yeah.
Just like that. And like, he was like, okay, so step one, you have to write the script. And then he was like, okay, we're going to meet on Sunday and then we'll go from there. You write your story, don't give yourself any limitations, write the story that you want to tell. I said, wow, okay. And yeah, from there, it was week by week, one task at a time, putting this film together. I don't think I was expecting, you know when you say things willy-nilly and you don't even deep that this man is really going to take you seriously.
Take you seriously, yeah. 100%, yeah.
Yeah, bless him. He really led the way, and it was, yeah. I think without him, I don't think the path would have been so clear. I don't think I would have jumped into it so soon. But that was an intensive process. Had a bit of money saved from Google, nice people, and then I used that kind of sustained me for that period and to help fund the film. And yeah, that I shot that, finally shot that in January 2020 or 2020.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, yeah, probably 2020, yeah.
Yeah, 2020. And then...
What was it about?
Was it 21? It might have been 20, no.
I feel like it was 2020.
Yeah.
Because I know the short film that you're talking about, yeah.
Yes.
What was it about?
Yes. It was about a young girl's experience with social anxiety. And also just having to deal with something and feeling like you can't rely on anyone else to help you. And yeah, that was essentially this experience that I was trying to translate. Did it through a challenge with like a typical experience that you have if you do struggle with social anxiety, which is like performance anxiety and stuff like that. So it was about this girl, and she had an opportunity to finally do a solo in her choir, and she'd always wanted to do that. So it was about how she navigates this opportunity and her determination to succeed despite the struggle that she knows she deals with and will probably face in this situation. So yeah, that was a story I really wanted to share because it's relatable and it was something that I personally struggled with.
I was just about to ask, yeah. Where the inspiration came from.
Was the inspo. I think growing up, I struggled with that a lot, and it felt so outside of my control. But I knew that wasn't an experience that only I could relate to, and a lot of people felt like how I feel. But I still get nerves from time to time now, and I still feel anxious in certain situations. But back then, it was a different level. To now, and just knowing, I look back and laugh at some of the situations because like anything performance, anything in like where whether it's camera or anything on me,
it's just
feels so long.
Yeah, it's slightly uncomfortable.
Yeah. So for me, that was like a story that I knew because you know they always say like when you're starting with writing or whatever, like write what you know. So I was like, okay, that's something that I know and I can identify with. So I started there.
Just started there. I think it's interesting that like mentorship has also been like a key theme as well, just in your journey. You've had like significant mentors that you kind of sought out really, whether it's like, okay, I need to apply for this program because then I'm going to get someone to help me and everything. And then the details start to become a bit clearer as they guide you around that. And I think, especially with what you're doing, I can imagine you already have these ideas and stories that you want to tell. And then you meet these people and learn that there's like a method to the madness almost. They were like,
Yeah.
there's a discipline here,
Yeah.
you know, that you need to kind of like
There's some
respect.
steps that you need to follow to get to the end goal,
Yeah.
which is definitely true.
What was that like? Just kind of learning that, like, because I find this concept so interesting that like there's a talent that you have that's super raw and you just kind of think about it creatively, right? You just have stories that you want to tell. And then you meet these professionals and they tell you that like, oh, this part of your story is called this and this is how it works. You know what I mean? Like, is that freeing or is that like limiting?
Freeing. Because you can't do what you don't know, if that makes sense, or you can't, it's just struggle to do it well anyway. And there's certain opportunities that I'm even taking up now that is only because someone told me that exists. Do you know what I mean? I work full-time as a director's assistant whilst also directing. I did not know director's assistant was a role.
Yeah.
Someone told me. I said, oh,
Yeah.
is that so?
Yeah.
From there, we created a roadmap as to how I can get in a position like that, which is, of course, handy for like directing and stuff like that, because I'm literally doing everything that the director does on a smaller scale. So yeah, I think mentorship has been incredible in terms of that, because I think they show you how it can be done and how you can make the most out of whatever creative idea that you have. And then also the network, because I didn't go to film school or any of this. So my network came from, one, meeting people through the hundreds of programs I did, two, like mentorship, mentors, then introducing me to other people, and those people then like playing some sort of role in some way, or opening this door or that door. Every job I've applied for, there was people that knew people where I was applying to. They were like, she's applying, yeah, kind of thing. And all of those things help. So yeah, I would say like mentorship.
I think it's super important because like in the creative space, it's unlike say professional services as in like accountancy and things of that nature, because you can kind of step back and see that, oh, okay, once I get here, I then go here and I then go here and I become this type of thing. But as you say, it's a lot murkier in this space. You didn't even know what a director's assistant was. That must be just, it must be, as you say, and it's strange because even at Google, you felt like things were still mysterious. You get deeper into the actual industry, so you're closer to something now, but it's still a bit mysterious. And then you meet these people along the way that kind of like this kind of guiding light. And that I think is amazing, just because it's something that you kind of didn't necessarily sit down and wait for, like oh, okay, maybe I'll happen to meet somebody someday that kind of, you know, will inspire me in this way. But you kind of go out there and look for these programs, look for these mentors, basically.
It's just about like, for me, it's about like creating the work and finding the people. And then once you do both, they connect, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the mentors I found, or the people that have supported me, like they saw what I was doing. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, she's trying. Do you know what I mean? They just want to see someone that will try. And you'll be surprised, like a lot of them were even surprised that I even reached out, or like, do you know what I mean? Like not all of the mentors were through programs. Some were just people I DM'd on Instagram. I was like, help me. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. Please just help me. And they're like, oh, like, I respect that. Not many people actually, do you know what I mean?
I think we need to talk about this part of it as well, because the amount of things that I've experienced just because I've DM'd somebody on Instagram is insane. Like even Jamal himself, I DM'd on Instagram. Like there are loads of other people as well who have just sent a message to you. And in your heart of hearts, you're like, okay, I don't know whether they'll respond, but either way, like I've done my part.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
the thing. You have to really put your pride aside and think, okay, I have nothing to lose if they don't, if I message and they don't respond, okay, I'm in the same position I started in. But what if they do? Do you know what I mean? And like literally the person that I did DM, actually, a lovely director called Savannah Leaf, she was the one that told me that you could be a director's assistant. She gave me my first opportunity at Academy Films to be one, and helped me figure out how I could do it full time. And that was from a DM. Do you know what I mean? Changed my life.
I think it's, I do think like I still kind of like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this concept that everybody, or at least almost everybody we want to speak to in this world is now like super accessible to us. Like that concept is like, I think the older I get, I'm beginning to like fully like grasp it. because I send these DMs and I get responses and everything like that. But it's definitely something I kind of just want to like even say out loud for people to hear, because the person you want to message has this same app that you use, and strangely enough, they might actually respond,
just
like,
see it,
like genuinely.
And even if they don't, there's other ways. Like even like in terms of right now, like there's people that I'm like, okay, this one didn't work. Who does she know? That you have to want it. Like pride just has to go out of the window. You actually, if you want to meet someone, or you think, or even if you think you have something to offer them, like just there's ways. You just have to want to do it.
I agree, and I think like just in case perhaps like anyone watching is thinking, okay, well, I can imagine they're thinking a few things. First of all, maybe what do I say? But then also, I think one of the biggest things, just having spoken to people that usually get those DMs, one of their biggest complaints is that like sometimes there isn't a clear ask, for example. So you're just kind of expressing your, I don't even know what emotion it is, but you just want to meet them. And it's like, why? And then there's the other half of that, which is then you get some people who just kind of go in there in almost in like an entitled way, no kind of real courtesy or no kind of just etiquette. And I think even those things are things that some communities take for granted, right? But you don't necessarily learn these things in school, right? Like you just kind of have to perhaps see somebody else do it, or like ask for advice or ask for help and everything like that. So I just don't want to make it look like it's something that perhaps everybody can naturally grasp and do. Like 100%. I understand why some people don't. You know what I mean?
It can be difficult, and 100%. There's definitely, it can be sticky. Some people don't even like want to help, and it's and you may not even be in the position to know exactly what you, do you know what I mean? Like when you don't even know what you're getting at, but you know you're trying to get at something, it can be difficult to have a clear ask. But I think some people will be understanding of that. Do you know what I mean? If you explain the situation, I think context is important. I think when you're saying, oh, like, can you help me? I think what I try to do is give context to like where I'm at and where I'm trying to go. And if I lack clarity and where I'm trying to go, I'll say that. Do you know what I mean? People appreciate honesty at the end of the day. So you don't have to have everything.
Definitely. I think like even on my side, like one of the things I try and do as well is whoever you're speaking to, have some sense of like, have an idea of like their work, right? So I will like specifically kind of pinpoint that like, oh, you did this and like I had a question about like this specific part, for example. Show that you care, like have an interest.
There's
basically.
a reason why you chose that.
Exactly. Not that like this message could be sent to somebody else type of thing. So I think that helps. Okay, today. Speak to us about today, what you're working on today.
Okay. Right. Today, working on a few things. Wrapping up a couple older projects that I directed or worked on or whatever. And then obviously I spoke about my work as a director's assistant full-time.
Let's get into that, because there are a lot of things that I've seen your name on. And you know what's the funniest thing was, this is genuinely how it happened. So I'm watching one of my favorite artists. I'm watching his music video, basically. I'm watching the music video now, and I'm the kind of person that like, when I watch videos, I really watch it. Like I like to see the story being told and the cinematography and all this kind of stuff. And then it gets to the end of the video and I see the credits. It was either the end of the video or the beginning of the video. I think it was the end of the video. Okay, I think it was the end of the video. And I see your name in the credits. I'm thinking, what? I get out my phone and I'm like, no, I'm so sure that this is Stephanie, you know what I mean? And then I see the post like a day later, basically. So obviously we're talking about Dave's video, we're talking about Verdansk. Like, talk us through that experience.
That whole thing. That was one of my favorite projects to work on as a director's assistant, because that was really a team effort and that was really like a Mission Impossible kind of thing. We've got
100%
to create this thing, throw this thing together, edit and done delivery date. Part of me didn't believe we would make it by the delivery date, but we somehow we did. And I think that was a project that like I was so personally invested in. There was decisions I had, even me, I was nervous when it was when it was coming out. I said, damn, this is really like it was nice because it was definitely a group effort. Everyone had to try their best for it to actually come out on time and to make it work. When it even came out, I was still on my way home from work. We literally wrapped it up and it came out that same hour.
So how do these things work? Is it that like the artist has their idea of what they want their video to be like? Because obviously the songs are there to give you context to what the video should kind of speak to. Are you kind of just following orders, or do you have creative, flexibility in terms of how it comes out?
So it depends on the artist and it depends on the brief. Some briefs are really, really like, it's going to be in a bar and there's going to be two people, they're going to fall in love, they're going to leave it. Some briefs are very much an idea of itself, and then it's up to you to like execute that and add your own like creative sprinkle to that brief. Some are very open, it's just like create what you want kind of thing. And then it depends on the artist. The artists like Dave are very creatively involved. He co-directs a lot of his videos, so he usually has a vision or an idea of what he wants, and then our job is to kind of help facilitate,
make that happen,
make it happen.
Yeah.
And then it is like just a bit like it's a collaboration, I guess,
with the artist and the actual crew
and the crew. So it's like director and artist will kind of go back and forth, try and be on the same page, and then whatever is agreed, the director will then communicate that to the rest of the crew, and like hopefully we'll make a.
So how does that even just feel? Like, what does that experience feel like? Because as I say, this is even someone, I'm speaking as a fan. Like, I'm a fan of his work. I'm a fan of his like artistry in general, like the songs, the videos. What's it like to kind of be a part of that process, perhaps when you're you actually are a fan of that person, or you've come across them before, given that like there was a time where you just you're sitting in your room in Singapore thinking crying in Singapore, how am I going to get to this place? What's that like? Like, do you take it in? Do you feel it at all?
There's moments where I've really deep. I think when I first started, like one of my first ever projects was Clash, which was Dave and Stormzy. And just
which is a great song. Great song.
It is a great song.
Yeah, outrageous drip in that song. No, seriously, the jacket he had was absurd. Like, as in, he had one large pink jacket. It was great.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
But like even just that one was one of my first projects, very small scale in terms of what I was like my involvement. But that was like a step. It showed me like, wow, like I'm really here doing what I thought I'm meant to do. I didn't really think it would lead to this, but now I'm laughing with doing kiki with Stormzy. And like, it's weird. I think that one was like a first moment where I was like, wow, this is really real, and I think I have value to offer here, or they believe it enough for me to even be here. And then it's just great. I think after a while you get used to it, but at the same time there's moments, because I get a lot of responsibility in terms of like how we come up with the ideas. I work with a director called Nathan James Tetty, and like
very seasoned and
very
popular.
very established in like especially the music video space. And we work very closely together. We come up with ideas together. We write the treatments together.
Okay. The first time you said this word treatment to me, I thought like, because I was like, she doesn't study medicine. What do you know what I mean? Like, as in, what is a treatment? Explain to people.
So a treatment is just a pitch deck for the director's vision of that video or film or whatever. So it's basically just a breakdown and a pitch of what they think their version of the film should be. And like directors kind of go head to head. It's meant to be standard free directors. Sometimes I see some crazy numbers. And
you pitch for that like project, or you pitch for
that project, and you like they'll sit down with all the treatments and say, this is a nice version. Okay, this one is interesting. I like the colors here. And then it's up to them to kind of it's either there's a commissioner on the other side, and then the artist. And it's kind of like, and there's other people, management and stuff. And it's just like I guess it's a decision between all of those people, which director wins.
Gets it. Yeah.
Okay. And then they make the film.
Cool. Okay. So you're at this point now. You're directing and being involved in these music videos, but then you're also doing different types of content as well. And so like the YouTube Originals one is one that stands out to me as something that like I thought was just like incredible. Like definitely just kind of walk us through that experience.
Oh, thank you. So that one I shot in January 2021. January 21. And that was a crazy time. That one was commissioned by YouTube Originals. I entered a competition. Well, it was more like a course that I applied for. And it was like, part of it was like, at the end, you'll get the opportunity. If you get onto the course, you get the opportunity to pitch a short film to YouTube Originals. I said, okay. Yeah. I might give it a go. Gave it a go. Got onto the program, did my treatment. That was my first, that might have been my first treatment. And I pitched it. And yeah, they picked 3 of us to make the short film or documentary. And it had to be music based. Mine was about the female experience in the rap industry. And yeah, that was we had like 3 weeks, 4 weeks max from putting the idea together to shooting it to editing everything. And this was like over the Christmas period. Yeah. So people are out of action for do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was tight, teeth were tight. But we just banded together and like tried our best to make the best film we possibly could. That one, I just realized you do what you can, but you have to just, no film has caused me the anxiety. More stress, yeah. But you have to accept that you can't control everything. Whilst I was on set, I didn't even know who was going to, I was like, just let's hope that they show up. It was one of them ones. But in the end, we made a solid film. The final cut was very different to the first one, but you just had to keep going until we find the gold in what we've shot. And yeah, that was I find it kind of ironic how like obviously you're a director and one of the lessons you learn during this experience is that you cannot control everything. Directors quite literally control the way that the narrative appears. And so like that just must be such a strange thing for you to kind of have to sit with given the role that you work in as well. Would you say that's something that you're comfortable with now? I think I'm more comfortable with it now. I think that not long ago I just directed my first music video by myself. And is it out? It's not out yet. Oh, okay, because I was gonna ask. April. Okay. April will be out. But that was interesting because I assumed that I would be nervous like how I was all the way back when. I directed my last thing, which was the YouTube Originals thing. But I think because I have so much experience in other capacities, whether it's director's assist or I've just been on set a lot over the past year, which means that like unknowingly I've done all the parts of it a lot, like many times. So doing the music video was actually a lot more comfortable than I thought it would be. And you get used to the fact that things go wrong all the time and you just get good at like fixing it. Like, because we've done it so many times, it's like, oh, like we've always shot it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, in the end, like, even when there's, we can't find a location, I'm like, yeah, but when have we got into the day and there's no location? It's never happened. So it'll be all right. You get kind of comfortable with that like level of uncertainty. Yeah, almost. You have to get used to it. Otherwise, it'll be tough. You won't rest. You have to actually accept that it will be all right. And there's a level of trust in the process. So I've realized like with directing, it's about controlling what you can and leaving the rest to God. Really vibes. Really and truly, that is it. And once you get to that place, directing becomes a lot more enjoyable. Because that's also something I also wanted to ask actually. Because you kind of say that like this is something you always kind of knew you would enjoy, and then obviously the kind of closer you get to it, and as the details kind of emerge, you figure out like what parts of it you enjoy the most, right? Yeah. But I think sometimes the fear is that if you now almost commercialize like what you enjoy,
that you may kind of fall out of love like with it. So maybe it's just that you like making these stories and you like putting it out. But perhaps, like, at least in my head, sometimes the way I rationalize some of these things is that if I start doing this as a full-time job, will I still enjoy it? Is that something you kind of faced?
Good question. I still love it. It comes with its struggles doing it day to day, but I don't think it's because of the craft, it's because of what comes with it, if that makes sense. So it's like the politics, it's the expectations and like when you're directing something anyway, it's like just trying to keep everybody happy and stuff like that. However, I don't necessarily face that yet because I still work as a director's assistant for the majority of my time. So I'm in a role that is like, I can do all the creative stuff without as much of the politics, because not everything is my responsibility, if that makes sense. So I think when I do get to direct and stuff, it still feels exciting and it still feels like, we're back here again kind of thing. But I do think away from that, when it does become work, then it has to be a case of finding new hobbies. And that's something that I realized that like, oh, I don't have any hobbies anymore. This was my hobby.
Yeah, this was what I did.
And now I do this every day of my life. So it's like, now it's like, I'm still navigating the process of finding things that I enjoy again. Music, I love music. And obviously I work on music videos as well. But outside of that, I wanted to be a producer first before I wanted like a music producer. That's what I wanted to do. So like, I'm like slowly like tapping back into like learning instruments again and all of that, because man, you have to find stuff that you love that you don't have to make money from.
I actually really love that, because I think sometimes in people's minds, when they have commercialized these hobbies, that's it for the hobbies, then like there can't be anything else that like I can do in my spare time, because that's just what you associate that word like with, you know what I mean? But I think it's super important, as you said, because I think doing those things in your spare time like actually gives you just more room to focus on what it is that you have commercialized, basically. Like it just feels a lot more freeing. It's like it doesn't consume your entire life.
Because I did feel like at one point it was really consuming my life. And then I realized outside of that, when things started to go wrong, when I look around, there's nothing else. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing to run to, because I've made this my whole life. Do you know what I mean? And there was like, even not seeing friends as much, all of that kind of stuff. It creeps in slowly. Before you know it, you don't have a life.
Before you know it, it's all 4 or 5 years and you haven't spoken to this person.
And I realized this can happen very quickly. And so I had to really check myself.
It's weird because ironically, again, it's like, obviously you spend so much time feeding into other people's like narratives and other people's stories, but like your own kind of story, your own journey, you know, your own kind of personal.
It can start to disappear if
take
you're not
another
careful.
turn. Bars. Mixtape coming out soon.
Watch out, guys. Watch out.
On this topic of stories, what does the next one look like for you? What excites you about the future?
What excites me about the future?
What are you trying to learn?
I think what excites me about the future is that no matter how, like, even speaking about this journey, it's rarely that I walk through the whole journey like this. It's very interesting. But it's like, no matter how, like, even though I've come a long way, I know I have so much like more to achieve and to do. And I think on some days it can be annoying because I'm like, damn, this journey is hella long. But actually, it's actually nice to think that like there's so much more that we can create and stories to tell. And I think the next chapter is just like creating more work and telling more stories that I think need to be told. And and telling it in ways that I feel like are unique and haven't been done before. At the end of the day, all of this that we're doing is like, we're here to enjoy it. And I think I really want to have more fun with my art and also be less precious about it as well. Because I think there's some films that I've been working on for years, and it's like, this one should have come out a long time ago. But like, I want to have fun with it. And I want to take it to another level. So I'm looking to direct more, going forward, write more as well, and yeah, create some exciting
Create
stuff.
some more stuff. I love it. I love it. Well, before we go, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Stephanie.Dinmar.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not really Twitter. I'm not very active, to be honest. Yeah, Instagram is your best bet.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Well, we are your favorite people on your favorite show. Nope, I'm out. I hope this conversation inspires you to put things to bed, to rest. And I think that will be it for this episode. Love. I really enjoyed that. I actually really enjoyed that.
I'm glad.
I really, really enjoyed that.
I'm glad I didn't bore you to death.
No, that was really, really interesting.